Thank you for joining me for the next session of Dr. Plotzker's Mind. I gave myself a me day. Uh, One thing, while I do my best to observe Shabbos, I think there should be a day when there's no cell phone, when your business closes down, um, devoting it to the ritual niceties uh, without a break can actually turn out destructive. So, despite it being Saturday, I just gave myself a day for me. No synagogue. I did study the Torah portion the day before, but this is a day when uh, my irritations with the synagogue just get set aside and I am on my own. So, what did I do with it? I had decided with weekly planning the Sunday before that either on Thursday or Saturday I'm going to go to a place where I've never been before. The place I chose after thinking about it was the Lancaster Central Market. I've been to Lancaster many times. It's about 45 minutes away. Nice Amish stuff, little malls. Since I retired, I never go there on Saturday, typically on Sunday or a weekday. But um, this time I wanted to venture further into Lancaster. I've been to Wheatland, uh, the home of President James Buchanan, probably our worst president, but one of the best presidential home tours. I've been to Franklin and Marshall College. That was on a Saturday. I tried to find the Hillel service and couldn't. But mostly when I go to Lancaster, it's for Amish country. Or occasionally the outlets, but the outlets and shopping in general has become much less attractive to me. But this time I decided, no, I'm going to go to the Central Market. So I turned on the GPS, uh, which gave me directions that I didn't particularly want to follow. I followed some of it uh, for the last half hour, which took me through some places that I'd not been before, or if I have been before, don't remember, including the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum. I've definitely been to the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum. Eventually, I got to what looked like downtown Lancaster, kind of a seedy area just before you get there, and then some kind of nice, well maintained buildings, clean sidewalks. The surface parking lots near the Central Market were all filled, but driving 2 blocks beyond that, it turns out that the city of Lancaster figured they would have to provide parking. They charge only $2 an hour. So I took my ticket, got my space, and walked the uh, couple blocks to the market. It has kind of an uncertain function. While they sell provisions like meat, uh, produce, it's really more like a food court to buy prepared food for lunch. It's only open 3 days a week. I toured the various vendors, decided I would either get an open face gravlax sandwich or a falafel, The falafel seemed the better deal. A little mushy, but nicely seasoned and a good value for what I paid. There weren't any tables to sit down, or actually very few, but occupied. So I walked outside, a little bit dreary day, um, put my sandwich on the ledge of a brick planter and ate it, then walked around a little bit more. This being a me day, I thought I'd go back in and get dessert, but really didn't see a dessert that I wanted. They did have some nice donuts or eclairs, but they looked a little bit messy. So I headed back to the parking garage. Turns out I was still within the $2 allotment, paid the $2, and decided my next stop would be a winery. Now, Pennsylvania allows satellite tasting rooms for their wineries, but I wanted to go to the estate. So I picked one out. It was a little bit farther out of the way than I thought, but a very pleasant ride through winding roads, some dairy cattle, some other farms, but no other vineyards. I got there, opted for the $12 sampler of five. It was pretty good. Took my time sipping it and returned to the car to go home. Set the GPS again. It gave me a route, but I really didn't want to take that route. I wanted to go to the one that I knew and opted for that instead. Now, while I was driving, I came across a road that I thought was a crossroad. It was a state route that went east-west, and I knew that one of the areas that it crossed was the Westchester University Stadium, since I've gone to the football game there. But this time I got to follow it for most of its length through farmland and then some estates, and eventually to places nearer my home and roads that I recognized. Turned right to the road that gets me home and got home. Little tired, but a day to myself. Much of it spent in the car, much of it spent alone with a little banter to some people at the winery. I probably could have used a little more banter or interaction. Nice chat with the fellow who made me the falafel. But the purpose was, I wouldn't say solitude, but escape. And I successfully escaped, at least for a day. Thanks so much for joining me on this session of Dr. Plotzker's Mind.